This conference will now be recorded.
I'll record everyday sessions and I'll share in a drive, okay, so that everyone, whoever is missing sessions, and they can access from the drive itself, okay. And I'll provide an access to everyone to the drive. You can be able to access all the sessions from the respective drives, okay. Today's session, so everyone come here to learn Azure data engineering, right? So before going to start Azure data engineer, right? So it's an Azure cloud and data engineer. What are all the roles and responsibilities? You have to understand what is the data engineer, what he can do in a real time. And you heard about many technologies like Azure Data Factory, Databricks, or Data Lake, storage accounts, SQL databases, Synapse. There are different kinds of services which is offered by Azure Cloud, Microsoft Azure, right? So, what exactly your roles and responsibilities as a data engineer, as a Azure data engineer? So nowadays, guys, okay, so the data volume is very high, okay, because the data is generating from variety of sources like laptops, like your phones, like streaming devices, like printers, like sensor data. There is a lot of different kinds of data, right? It might be the structured data, it might be the unstructured data, it might be the semi-structured data. So we'll discuss clearly on this structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data, right? So how the data is generating, what are all the sources? So when it comes, if you can think it as any kind of business functions, guys, okay, any kind of domains like a health domain, a retail domain, we have energy, and we also have some social media, right? So nowadays lot of data is generating from social media. If you are sending a data is nothing but a text, right? It's an information. So when you're trying to send a message to one of your colleague, one of your friend, right? So it's a data, right? But it might be the small data, while doing some texting the messages, while doing some chatting through WhatsApp and Facebook messengers, like it's a small data, right? But these domains like retail domain, health domain, energy, social media, healthcare, so there are different kinds of domains are generating different kinds of data, right? So everyone with me, guys, are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Hello?
Yes, Suresh.
Yeah,
Yes,
guys,
Yash.
it's an interactive session, guys. Okay, please, everyone, because everyone came here to learn something and gain some knowledge, and they want to enter into the IT. Few people are coming from non-IT, few people already working in a different domains. So try to understand, because I'll share each and everything, because you have to understand in depth. So basic anyhow you'll understand in the starting sessions. Going forward, everyone should understand depth, because you have to be work in a real time. You come here to learn something, and you have to apply that knowledge in the real time. Okay,
Sure.
so try to understand, ask more questions, guys, ask more questions. Then you should be understand, you should be able to familiar with the new technology, because whenever you want to learn any new technology, there are terminology would be different, completely different. But whoever is working in IT, maybe they can understand the terminology. But whoever is coming from there, few people are coming from maybe non-IT people, so they have to understand the terminology. If even if you are not understanding the terminology, you can speak to me, guys. Okay, so I'll explain very low level. Okay, at the starting stage, it's a base point for everyone, it's a route for everyone to understand any new technology. Okay, starting few sessions, if you understand, you can continuously understand all the sessions, guys. Okay, so in today's session, I just want to explain about Azure data engineer. Okay, what is data and how the data is generating, what is your roles and responsibilities as a Azure data engineer, and what kind of services we are going to use this as a data engineer, what are all the skills you need, right, to collect that. For example, as a data engineer, I'm saying that you have to collect the data from the variety of sources, you have to load the data into cloud, you have to do certain kinds of transformations, and you have to prepare the data for the customers what exactly he needs, and you have to finally load the data into cloud storage. So this is what I simply saying that this is the definition. But if you want to collect the data, if you want to do that process, right, you have to understand many things. There are a lot of services Microsoft Azure is offering, almost 200 plus services Microsoft currently offering, but you no need to worry about all the services. Okay, you no need to worry about all the services, but you have to aware few services. As a data engineer, you should be able to use those services, and you can implement this how you are collecting, how you are loading the data, how you are transforming the data. You have to do all these things with the services. So what are all the services? And we can discuss each and every service with architecture, with a detailed explanation. Okay, so I'll go for starting to, I mean, basic to advanced, guys. Okay, because I am working on product side in Microsoft, because we are actually, I mean, when compared to service based, so product, we are working on a product side, we have complete knowledge on the product side. So if you have any questions, even later point of time also, have while practicing, right, while trying to understand, if you're not understanding any terminology, you can talk to me. Okay, so don't hesitate, guys. Okay, don't hesitate. Even small things also you can ask. Okay, small things also you can ask me. I'll explain clearly. Okay, remember this point till end of this course. You can understand this point. You have to understand each and everything. Okay, so about myself, guys. So I'm working in Azure data engineer in Microsoft, and I'm certified Azure data engineer. If anyone wants to clear the certification, please talk to me. I'll help them how they need to clear the certification as well. Okay, and let's talk about Azure data engineer, and let's talk about the data. Nowadays people are calling data is a new currency, guys. Okay, because to add a value to the business, right? So even so I'll give a small use case, real-time use case. When you start any new business, guys. Okay, you start one restaurant, small restaurant, and so you are offering customers, so maybe morning you are offering tiffins, afternoon food, lunch, evening dinner, right? So for set up your restaurant, right, you need lot of infrastructure, right? So you need building, you need infrastructure like tables, right? And people, you need infrastructure team is required, right, to set up all these things. And so you need a counter, right? And you need the items to prepare that food, right? So all this infrastructure is required to set up this business, right? So there is a lot of cost is involved, right? So when it comes to business, if business is success, again you have to increase the number of resources, you have to increase the people. Maybe building is not sufficient to accommodate the customers, right? You have to purchase another building maybe near to that, and you have to be renamed, name same, I mean whatever the name you are having the building, that same hotel name, and it should be at same name as another building. And you have to be increase the resources, you have to increase that infrastructure and everything, right? So that's where data volume is growing, and the number of I mean your business is growing, right? So you have to be get all the data, right? So whatever the data you are generating, you have to get all the data from the respective source. Okay, and so what will happen here? So if business is success, right, maybe through mouth talk, right, people can interact with each other, and they'll tell this food is good in this hotel, right? So that way, I mean, you're providing some advertisements, and people can interact with each other through mouth talk, and people can understand this hotel is good, and many people come to your hotel, and they will try to eat the items, right? So this way business will grow, and ultimately number of resources, infrastructure and everything should increase, right? So that every business, guys, every business nowadays, data is a key. Okay, data is a key nowadays, because sometimes what will happen, if you want to order any food from Swiggy or Zomato, right? So you will check that rating, right? So all these kinds of data they'll maintain. Swiggy and Zomato, they'll maintain all of your data, right? So data is new currency. That's what I'm talking about. Data is a new currency people are talking nowadays, and you have to be collect all the data, guys. You have to collect the data. So it might be some other sources as well. For example, if you purchase any item, you purchase some phone from Amazon or Flipkart, Okay, so what they will do, they will track all your information. So initially what you need to do, you have to be registered to that e-commerce website like Flipkart or Amazon or eBay, whatever it is, Snapdeal, right? Initially you have to be registered, and then you enter into that website or app, and you try to select the items, right? So whatever the item, for example, you're trying to purchase a phone and you're trying to analyze that what kind of phone I have to be purchased, and based on the ratings, right? Based on the ratings and based on your knowledge, right? So what kind of phone you want to purchase, right? You have to be checking, you have to just log into that Flipkart, and you try to go to that mobile category, and you just want to search for the phone, and you just want to see that the specifications and everything. So wow, I mean, while searching all this information, what Amazon or Flipkart, what they will do, they will track all your information, guys. Okay, they will track all your information, and they will be able to send, if you're not purchasing also, whatever the email ID you have used to log into that Amazon, the same email ID maybe you have used that in Facebook or any other websites while registering, right? They will send these recommendations to that other websites as well, because this email ID is interactive, interlinked with that Facebook, right? So you can also see that uh, I mean, advertisements, right? Whatever the items you have selected, they'll sending to that other websites as well. The reason behind, so you already mentioned your email ID there, so they already, it's interlinked, and they will send these recommendations to the other websites when you try to log in. Okay, remember this point, guys. So what is my key point here? I'm trying to I'm trying to explain here, data is a key role nowadays. Okay, so in the future also there are plenty of opportunities as a data engineer, guys. Okay, because volume of data is growing every day. We have that, I mean, 10 MB of data is fine, guys. 100 MB of data is fine. When you have a terabytes of data, when you have 100 GB of data, right? So the data is, nowadays the data is coming from the variety of sources, as we discussed, right? It might be structured data, it might be unstructured data. The data is coming from SQL Server. The data is coming from storage devices, right? Like a blob storage or a data lake storage, Gen2, SQL databases, Oracle, sensor data, streaming data. The data is coming from many places, right? So your laptops, your desktops, right? So data volume is growing every day. You have to collect all the data, guys. You have to collect all the data, and you have to do some sort of analysis on top of the data to add a value to the business. Okay, so you have to be taken care, you have to collect all kinds of data, is from the variety of sources. For example, in real time, if you got any project, right? So as a data engineer, what they will look into your skill, right? They'll explain how, what are all these source systems, how you need to collect the data from the variety of sources, like your customer, your client have one of SQL database, right? Or they have some SFTP source system, or they have some SharePoint, they have some FTP server. So you have to be collect all the data. Customer will explain you what kind of data you have to be process. You have to be load into cloud, and you have to transform the data. Everything customer can explain you. Okay. So how you need to extract the data and how you need to transform the data, as a data engineer you should aware. Okay, so that you can understand once you complete this course. Okay, so I'll explain each and every step, how you need to extract the data from the variety of sources, how you need to from SFTP, because whatever we faced in real time, I worked on different kinds of source systems, how you need to collect the data, load the data, transform the data, and how you need to load the data finally into target. Guys, can you hear me? Is my
Yes,
voice is audible to everyone?
yes, it is
Yes,
Is my
audible.
voice?
Yes, Suresh.
Okay, okay. I think Gopi, can you please check your speaker? Okay, thank you, guys. So I mean, data is coming. For example, guys. So now I'm saying that the data is there even for any websites, guys. Not only I'm giving an example on Flipkart, Amazon, right? When you try to even for IRCTC, when you try to book a tickets, right? When you want to travel somewhere, when you want to try to book some tickets, and you'll go to the you may book the flight tickets and the train tickets. They will gather all your information, right? Sometimes what will happen, you know, for example, you are the regular customer to Amazon or Flipkart or any other IRCTC, or we have Abibus, we have you try to register there, right? When you want to book some ticket and you try to register, and they'll also send some recommendations, right? They'll also send some recommendations, and they'll give some vouchers, right? If you are a regular customer, they will provide some discounts as well, right? So this is what happened to add a value to their business, so they do not lose their existing customers, right? I mean, they have to be provide some advertisements. For example, guys, for example, what I'm trying to say here, so they have their business, and maybe each and every year they want to calculate, for example, in 2021, right? They have some orders, right? So maybe sold items, maybe 10,000, okay? And in January month, for example, guys, in January month, sold items are 10,000. 2020 same year, so February month, sold items maybe 15,000, okay? So each and every month they're trying to increase, maybe at initial stage in 2022 January month, maybe sold items uh, maybe 1 lakh, okay? So try to understand this 1 lakh. And into February month, sold items 1,50,000. March, sold items maybe 90,000, okay? April, sold items maybe 80,000, okay? So when it comes to graph, guys, okay, they'll keep on checking that item sold, and they'll check all these information, guys, okay? They have all this, they have different reporting tools in real time. They have different reporting tools where they need to check all these kinds of information. Maybe in 2021 the sold items are 10,000, and maybe in February month they have 15,000, and 2022 again January 1 lakh items sold, and February it's reduced to it's increased to 1,50,000, but suddenly graph down 90,000 in March month, right? These kinds of things, business I mean business people, they'll check all this information, guys, okay? Even, right, even if you start a even small business, right, you can check all this information, right? It might be some cat, maybe you provided some advertisements, right? So you provided some advertisements, and this 2021 and till 2022 January, maybe till 2022 February month, the sales are very high, and you can see here the sales are gradually decreasing, right? So 90,000, 80,000, right? So gradually decreasing. So you have to be understand, you have to understand the business, right? First you have to be analyze that based on the data only, right? Based on the data only, you have to be analyze all these things, right? So you have, that is the reason, guys, many for example, even if I want to maybe for new apps, right, especially for new apps, when I want to purchase some items, they'll initially send some discount, right? For if you are a first customer, for example, if I want to log into maybe red bus, right? So recently I want to travel to somewhere, and I tried register that red bus, and they initially give the 50% discount on your first ticket, right? So why they're trying to attract you, right? They're trying to register to their app, and they want you to travel to through their app, right? So if you are aware that app, right? If you are, maybe you can suggest to someone, maybe you can maybe travel for next time, right? They will track all your information from past, maybe last 2 months you have traveled this many times, right? So they'll give some vouchers also, right? For discount, they will give some vouchers, and you can use those vouchers as well. So these kinds of some discounts they will provide, and maybe the amount is added to the wallet even when you are traveling next time, and you can use that wallet amount. These are all some advertisement strategies, so to business growing strategies what they are following for each and every business, guys. Not only Redbus, not only Abibus, not only for any business apps, if you can see. So to attract the customers, they will give all these kinds of discounts, all these kinds of vouchers, right? To improve this, to add a value to their business, right? And so these kinds of things, how they're trying to track all this information based on the data you collected from the variety of sources, and load the data into cloud, and doing some transformation, doing some analysis on top of the data, and load finally into some storage account. And from there, business people, they'll use their Power BI report, Power BI or Tableau. There are different visualization tools in current market, and they will use those tools, and they will view all these kinds of strategies. Okay, they will view all these kinds of information through their reporting tools. Okay, so this is what about data, guys. Okay, so as we discussed it, right, the data it coming from different varieties, right? I mean, the data, it might come structured data and semi-structured data, or unstructured data, but you have to collect all kinds of data, right? It might be structured in the sense the data would be represented in the form of rows and columns, right? For example, we have Excel, right? So generally in a table, how the data is represented in a table, we have for example customer ID, right? For example customer name, right? Customer address, right? So all these information, guys. Okay, this is, we are trying to represent the data in the form of rows and columns. Okay, so databases, right? You know, anyone knows, I mean, I think everyone knows the databases, right? Where we need to represent the data in the form of rows and columns. Okay, these are all the columns, and we have some data. So it's a nothing but in structured data, right? So CSV file is a structured data, right? So when it comes to semi-structured data, we have different kinds of file formats. Okay, like we have JSON files, Parquet, like these are all the files, Avro, these are all the files that comes under semi-structured data. Okay, when it comes to unstructured data, guys, okay, you know, right? You are trying to chat with your friends, you are trying to chat through Facebook or WhatsApp, right? So you are trying to do whatever the messages, whatever that streaming data, right? The sensor data, there's a lot of backend data is generating from the variety of missions, right? From variety of missions, and all this data is unstructured data, but you have to collect the data, right? You have to collect the data, and you have to transform the data, and you have to load the data into cloud, and you have to do some analysis, you have to do some transformations on top of the data. Sometimes because you collect all the unstructured data, guys, but I don't want all unstructured data. I need that quality of the data, right? So I don't want entire data, but I want quality of the data. I want to pick only the quality of data, and I load the data into target mission. Okay, so from there, the business people or any data scientist people or machine learning people, they'll gather all the information, whatever the data you have after transforming data, what you have loaded it somewhere into cloud, right? So what data scientist people or machine learning people, they will collect all this data, and they will do some sort of analytics on top of the data, guys. Okay, so to add a value to the business, that's it. Okay, so they will collect all the data, and they will do certain kinds of prediction analysis on top of the data, and they will provide some recommendations to the customers accordingly. Okay, so this is how internally it will happen about data, guys. What is the importance of data nowadays, right? So it's very important, guys. Even your laptop, right? If you can consider it as your laptop, you have a lot of personal information, and if you want to move any data, right? So you want to, for example, you want to drop an email to for your manager, right? You just drop an email and you'll drop and the mail will receive to the target receiver, right? Target whoever is your manager or someone. So you have all this information in a Gmail, right? So all this information you can go back and check, even 1 year email also you can go back and check. This is kind of a data, right? So the data you have, the data is very useful. So it might be any kind of data. It might be the data is coming from the variety of domains, right? So it's not related to one domain, it's related to multiple domains. Okay, so it's related to retail, finance, okay, HR. There are different kinds of business functions you are going to work in a real time. Okay, so this is what about a data. So I just want to give the clarity on the data side. So what is the necessity of data here? As a Azure data engineer, you should be able to understand, because you have to work on a data side, okay, data quality, and you have to do a lot of analysis on a data side. Okay, so you're going to work on completely on data. So that's what I'm startingly I just start explaining about the data. You have to understand this fundamental term about the data, then you should understand the data, Azure data engineer. Okay, so everyone with me, guys, if you have any questions, please ask me. You have to understand this, so please ask me, guys, if you have any questions. So everyone with me, guys.
Uh, Suresh?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, you're telling about the different kinds of data, right? So
Correct.
you said like structured, unstructured, and semi-structured,
Yeah.
and what kind of data we get from the unstructured data? Can you explain about that one?
Sure. So unstructured data in the sense, guys, okay, the data is coming from log, right? You know, log data, text data. I mean, it's not a structured data. Like here, I mentioned that customer ID, name, for example, some name I'll mention, address, adverts. Like this is a structured data, right? So you are trying to represent here name Narendra, right? So Bangalore. So here we have this is a customer ID, customer name, customer address. This is a structured data. For example, how are you? Okay. So this is what this is. This is simple text, right? This is unstructured data, right? So it might be binary data, it might be audio file, it might be video files, it might be image file. You know, right? MP3. You just want to watch videos, you just want to see images, you just want to see binary data like image file, or you want to listen some songs, right? Audio, video, image files, sensor data, streaming data, like different kinds of data. Unstructured data in the sense all these are comes under unstructured data. Okay, nowadays unstructured data volume of this unstructured data volume is growing exponentially, guys. Okay, so very huge, but you don't no need to worry about all the data, but you have to collect the quality of data, right? So no need all kinds of data. So this is what the unstructured data, guys. Okay, there is no structure at all, right? So you have some flat file in a real time. This might be the CSV file having some structured information where we need to represent the data in a table, like similar to table, right? This is similar to table. So you have some columns and you have some rows here, right? So here this is unstructured data, normal text. Okay, so but you have to be do some analysis on top of this data, guys. Okay, so on unstructured data also maybe you have to convert to the structured, right? So you don't have any header information, you don't have any header information for this. You just have some plain text, hi, how are you, right? So these are all normal text, normal WhatsApp messages, right? So it might be audio files, video files. So how you need to process, right? So how you need to extract these files and load the data into cloud. So Azure Data Factory service, it supports all kinds of this one. Okay, so you can extract the data from audio files, video files. We have different formats, binary format. I mean, like this, we have different formats are available in Azure Data Factory. No need to worry about at this point of time, but you can be able to load even unstructured data. There are some storages, blob storage. It's mainly meant for loading unstructured kind of data, but you can still load any kind of data, but it's mainly invented at initial stage. They thought that it's mainly load for unstructured kind of data. There is another storage where you can see that data lake. Okay, data lake storage, and to that you can understand in depth about the storage accounts and how you need to connect internally to this storage account in a real time. How you, there are different kinds of authentication, different kinds of networks. Okay, all the networks are the selected network. There are different kinds of options we have, how you need to connect to the storage accounts in a cloud. That I'll explain in a real time what exactly it will happen. Okay, so in are you clear about this?
Yes, and thank you for explaining details.
Thank you, guys. So please ask me, guys, if you have any questions. We'll go for next topic. I'll explain that fundamentals. Okay, few cloud computing, cloud. What is this cloud? What is the, so I am talking. I just explained about a data, right? Data engine. Now I'll talk about Azure, right? Azure. Before going to Azure cloud and on premises, we have. I mean, what is the disadvantage of using on-prem systems and why we are everyone is moving to cloud, right? What is the advantage of moving to the cloud? And so how efficient cloud it is, and so how much I mean how you can save your cost, and how to improve the performance of how you need to increase the productivity. Okay, so make customers can look into these terms, guys. Okay, customers can look at, you have to, even for your case also, if you want to start a small business, right, you try to reduce the cost, right? So what you need to do, you can think about what are all the scenarios you have to reduce the cost, right? Even for every business people, they'll think about initially cost. They want more performance and they need less cost, right? So customers mainly look into that. They need a productivity, they need a how you need to reduce the cost, and they will mainly choose those tools, right? And how you need to improve the performance with respect to this tool when compared to, because we have many tools in current on-prem, like Informatica, like SSIS. There are many tools in current market. Okay, to collect all the data and transform and loading the data into storage, right? So we have many tools, but I'll also explain when compared to other tools, why Azure Data Factory. This is one of the service. This is one of the tool we have in a cloud. So many people are using, many people are moving their jobs, whether it is Informatica, SSIS, data stage, talent. Um, yeah, so I'll come to that, guys. Okay, what is cloud? What is Azure cloud? I'll come to that. I'll explain the definition. Before going to that, I'll start explaining what is this on-premises, what are all the disadvantages, why people are moving to cloud, what is cloud. You have to understand all this terminology. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here, so so you have an on-prem systems, everything you have to be taken care, right? So in on-prem systems, you no need to, in a cloud, guys, everything is taken care by the cloud service provider. Okay, so let me explain few things. So internet service provider, right? Maybe you are using Act, right? So or you are using Hathway, or maybe Airtel, right? Different internet service providers, right? Like we have CSPs, cloud service providers. Okay, and we have cloud service providers, Azure. Okay, we have AWS, we have Google Cloud. In current market, guys, we have all these are cloud service providers. Now you are learning Azure, but we have AWS, Google Cloud, like we have Oracle Cloud, we have IBM Cloud, we have Alibaba Cloud, right? We have different cloud service providers in our current market, but most frequently used cloud service providers are Azure, AWS, even Google Cloud also nowadays people are using. So So when compared to all, Azure will even 95% Fortune 500 companies are using Azure, Microsoft Azure Cloud. There are plenty of uses actually. Okay, so plenty of benefits that we can discuss later. Okay, so these are all the cloud service providers, guys, currently market. So you're trying to learn Azure. Yeah, so that, yeah, we need a SQL as well. Okay, so that I'll explain how you need to use this SQL, and how, what is the necessity of using the SQL here also we can discuss. Okay, so now I just want to explain a cloud service, because I'll come a sequential, guys. Okay, so because you have to understand the a graph. Okay, you have to understand the architecture. Okay, first initially you have to understand about the data, then you have to understand about what is the cloud, and what is the fundamentals of cloud, and before going to cloud, guys, what are all the disadvantages, why people are choosing Azure cloud, right? You have to understand all these things. Okay, so I'll come one by one. So cloud service providers, we have Azure, we have Microsoft Azure, we have Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud, IBM Cloud, Alibaba Cloud. We have different cloud service providers in current market. Okay, so now you are going to learn Azure Cloud. Let's discuss about the cloud computing fundamentals. Okay, so what is fundamentals of cloud computing, why are cloud computing, what is cloud computing, what is Azure? Okay, what is Azure cloud, you have to understand, right? So let's discuss about cloud computing architecture, guys. Okay, so now you have a mobile, you have a laptop, you have some printers, right? So you have some desktops, right? So these are all your devices, right? So these are all your devices, these are all nothing but on premises, right? So your laptop, right, it's an on premises, right? And you have you have phone, right? It's an on premises, it's not cloud, right? So it's a, you have a printer that is on premises, right? So you want to move data from on premises to the cloud computing, in the sense you have plenty of missions, right? You have servers, you have virtual desktops, you have software platforms, you have applications, you have data storage. There are different kinds of categories are available in a cloud computing. What kind of categories, what are all the services are comes under each category, that we can discuss, clearly, guys, no need to worry. So just at a high level, this is a cloud. Okay, this is a cloud, and there are different kinds of services Microsoft Azure is currently offering, almost 200 plus services. Okay, when it comes to any application, guys, what you need networking, you need storage, you need memory, right? You need some software platforms, you need some desktops, virtual desktop, you need to storage somewhere, you need to store the data, you need a servers. Okay, so all these things, guys, all these things cloud service provider will offering for you. Okay, they will offer everything, and you can be able to choose whatever your requirement. Okay, your requirement is to create an application, your requirement is to develop an application, your requirement is for building and deploy your applications. You can choose that service and you can use in a cloud, and you can so you can use those and you can implement in your project. Okay, so I'm saying about these are all different kinds of on-prem systems, right? Your laptop is your on-prem, right? On-prem, it's not part of a cloud. Your laptop is your on-prem, your own laptop, right? Or even in companies also, you're going to use the company's laptop or desktops, right? They're all your on premises, right? So when you want to connect to the cloud, you need some router, you need some switch, you need some internet connectivity, right? People are nowadays, guys, if you have internet connection, right, you can connect anywhere in the world, you can connect to your cloud, guys. Okay, anywhere in the cloud you can connect to the cloud from this laptop, printer, mobile, whatever it is, you can connect anywhere. If you have internet connection, you can connect anywhere to the cloud. I can connect to my portal, my Azure portal, cloud portal. I can use the I have a phone internet, right? I can connect to the cloud. If you have internet, you can connect to the cloud. But with respect to on-prem systems, on-premises in the sense, this is an on-prem, your laptop, your mobile, your printer, right? If you want to connect, if you want to move data, for example, you want to send an email, right? So you need some internet connection, and you cannot connect from anywhere, right? Your company is on premises, like you are working in Infosys or you are working in maybe L&T or Wipro. You cannot connect to their network, you cannot connect to your desktops or whatever it is outside of network, right? Outside of organization, right? That's a restriction actually. They cannot, you cannot connect to their network. Okay, you cannot connect to their network outside of organization, right? You, once you come out of that organization, you cannot connect, right? But if you have internet connection, you can connect to cloud anywhere in the world. Okay, that's what the beauty of cloud. So I'll come to that, what are all advantages of using cloud, and why we need to use the cloud. Okay, so now as an end user, you have to use to connect to the cloud using internet connection from these devices, mobile, laptop. Okay, so this is a cloud computing. So let's discuss about one use case, guys. Okay, so he's John, actually he's going to create a social media website, guys. Okay, so remember this point, he's going to create a social media website, and he start thinking about, when you create, even when you start a small restaurant, guys, okay, you need lot of resources, right? Even John's want to create a social media website, so there are many social media website, but his intention is to create maybe in a different start thinking about in a different way, maybe start creating another social media website, and he start thinking about infrastructure, guys. Okay, so for him to create a social media website, and he need lot of services, lot of infrastructure is required, right? Like servers, storage, infrastructure team, security. So maybe few guys are already working in a real time, guys. You may aware that already we have some infrastructure in the companies on premises as well, right? They have some system admins where they can take care about all the data centers. There are some racks and all. Maybe you have seen that. I'll show you one image, guys, so that you can have that. Maybe a few are coming from the non-IT, because I have to understand them. So how the data center, right? So how the data is organized, right? How the servers are organized in a real time. So when it comes to data centers, so I'll show you guys how big the data center. Okay, so you can see in a real time, these are all the data centers, guys. You have number of physical servers. You can see in this diagram, we have a number of physical servers. There are different tracks, and there are different cables, right? So all are interlinked with each other to maintain this data center. You can see in this room, you can clearly see, guys, you can, in this room we have ACs, right? Because you definitely need high cool AC actually. I mean, we need some infrastructure team. We need lot of servers. Okay, we need lot of servers. We need racks, and we need infrastructure team to maintain all this. Okay, on all these servers, and so there is a lot of storage. There is a lot of infrastructure is required, right? Like servers. So server means, for example, guys, so when you want to load the data, right, you need some storage, right? You need some you have some, maybe your laptop, guys, if you can take it as your laptop, right? So it's a small server, right? A small commodity machine. Okay, with 1 second, guys. Okay, so server means even in small commodity mission, right? In even in your mission, right? So you have some low configuration, like you have maybe 250 GB of data, 250 GB of hard disk, right? And maybe you have some 8 GB RAM, and you have some memory. You know, right? How internally your laptop, what is the cores, number of cores, Intel dual core, or you are using core i7 processor, right? So all this information you have, right? The underlying server, the underlying configuration, what exactly you have in a laptop. Even in a real time, we have high-end configuration, high-end servers with a high configuration. Okay, so in real time also we have different kinds of servers where we need to keep all our storage, memory, our number of is it iCore 7 processor, like all this information we have in a servers. Okay, so high-end configuration servers, remember this point. Okay, different kinds of servers based on our volume of data we can configure these servers. Okay, we have this server setup and everything is taken care by the system admins, you no need to worry about internally. Okay, so this is what the server. Okay, so just understand your laptop, how the configuration and all. So this is just correlate with the server. Okay, storage in the sense it might be databases, you know databases, and in different kinds of storages, even in a cloud like blob, data lake, file, queue, disk, the different kinds of data lake storage, gen 1, gen 2, there are different kinds of storages we have in a cloud or even in on premises. We are talking about on premises, right? We have some databases, we have some file systems, right? So we can be able to even load the data in that. This is kind of a storage. Okay, and we have infrastructure team is required, right? Infrastructure team in the sense, so I just showed you, right, to maintain all this data center, to maintain this data center and the different physical servers, cables, it's very difficult to maintain all the, if you have a huge data centers, guys, you know how big Microsoft data centers, let me show you. So see guys, this is data center, you see, I mean this is how big the data centers they're maintaining in different regions. Okay, so I mean how difficult to maintain, how so to establish this data centers, to establish all the infrastructure, so it's very difficult, guys. Okay, so Microsoft like this, they have different data centers. Okay, through aerial view maybe it's but when you go there, and it's very big, guys. Okay, so to maintain this, lot of infrastructure team is required, and a security. So because now data in the sense, we have to think about the security, guys. A lot of your personal information, right? Your email ID, your credit card information, your phone numbers, right? So your lot of personal information, right? Even data security would be key role for any cloud service provider, guys. Okay, because you have to be ingest your data, your valuable data, right? Your business data, right? So service provider, whoever is cloud service provider you're using, so they have to be provide the best security standards. Believe me one point, guys, here, whatever the services we are using, right, for all the services Microsoft is offering best security standards. Okay, so our same security standards, even Azure Data Factory is a first party citizen to Microsoft Azure, guys, remember this point. So the same security standards is offering to all the services, all the 200 services what we are going to use. Okay, in a different kinds of scenarios, but we're not worry about all the services. So all the security standards are best in Microsoft Azure, and you can be able to move your data, whether it is personal data, whether it is structured data, whether it is semi-structured or unstructured data. Okay, so they think about your data as well. Okay, so while data is in a rest mode in the sense, while data is loaded in the storage, and while data is in a transit mode, transit in the sense while moving the data from one place to another place, the data is encrypted. Okay, so there are some advanced level of encryption that I'll show you while creating these services. Okay, so the best security standard, no need to worry about our data, guys. Okay, so Microsoft is offering best security standards. That is the reason many businesses are currently moving to Microsoft Azure. So why we have plenty of opportunities in Microsoft Azure, the reason behind cost, productivity, and performance. Okay, so even security, so they're offering best security standards as well. So now John start thinking about all this, if he needs to start social media website, and he need all this information, he needs server, storage, infrastructure team, security and all, right? So if business, what are all the challenges, right? High setup cost to launch all these services, right? There is a lot of cost is involved, right? And if business got success, right? If business is success, if my social media website is success like Facebook, right? So I have to be increase that number of resources. I have to increase the number of servers. I have to increase the storage capacity. I have to increase the number of resources. I have to increase the security standards. Okay. So that all these things, guys, I have to be taken care. If business failed, right? If business failed, so I lost this setup, right? I lost this entire infrastructure, right? Whatever the investment I have made with respect to infrastructure and all this cost I lost, right? So in a real-time terminology, we can call it as all this in front and before start any business, right? We need the infrastructure. We should have the infrastructure, right? We are investing a lot of amount on this infrastructure side, right? We can call it as capital expenditure. Okay, capital expenditure before going to invest, before going to start your business, before going to expect something, right? So you need to set up all this infrastructure. We can call it as a capital expenditure. If business got success, you have to increase the number of resources. We can call it as a operational expenditure. Okay, so try to understand the terminology. No need to worry about this terminology and all. Okay, so finally John reached out to one of specialist. Okay, her name is Angela, and she's the IT specialist and with a huge experience implementing new products and understanding product implementation life cycle and its challenges. Okay, she suggested to John cloud, go for cloud. Okay, so what is the advantage of using the cloud? She start explaining about on premises, right? So on-prem data center and a cloud. What exactly the difference between on-prem data center and a cloud? So with respect to on-prem data center, there is a higher upfront cost of setup because you have to set up all the servers, right? You have to set up server, storage, infrastructure, security. So there is a lot of cost is involved, right? High setup cost to launch. Okay, this is a lot of cost is involved. You have to invest a lot of cost before going to start. It's a pay as you go model. There is no upfront cost at all here. Okay, in a cloud, guys, you no need to worry about there is upfront. You no need to set up all you no need to pay all the infrastructure cost. It's a pay as you go model. What is this pay as you go model? You can understand going forward. Okay, so how Microsoft is charging and for each resource and whatever the usage, maybe you are using 1 hour, right? So Microsoft will charge you for 1 hour only, guys. Okay, while creating the services they will not charge you anything, but while processing, right, while doing some transformations or while loading data from source to target, they'll charge only for that particular period of time. Okay, whatever the resources we have used, they will charge only for that. Okay, so even storages, how cheap Microsoft is offering for storages and very less cost, guys. I'll show you how much Microsoft is charging because I've used for previous batches as well. I just want to show you that that graph how Microsoft is uh, charging with respect to storages and with respect to loading the data. I mean, it's very cost effective when compared to other ETL tools in the current market. Okay, so that's the reason, guys, many people are moving to cloud, especially using Azure Data Factory service. Okay, so we have many advantages while explaining this Azure Data Factory architecture, why we need to use Azure Data Factory and how to use Azure Data Factory. When do we choose Azure Data Factory? Also, you have to understand all these things. Okay, so there is no automatic updates, right? So with on premises, in the sense, you can take an example of your laptop, your personal laptop or your desktop, right? So you have to be taken care your updates, right? Even in a company also, you're working on Infosys, guys, for example, you're working on Wipro, for example. So you have some desktop or you have some laptop a company is sent to you, right? So you have to be taken care everything. This is it's your laptop. It's in company provide. Even though company provided that, you have to taken care about your automatic updates, right? So there is no automatic updates. You have to be taken care all the updates in your on premises. But with respect to cloud, automatic software updates, you no need to worry about your software updates and everything, guys. Okay, they'll automatically update it. So even your laptop, there is a lot of updates that maybe in weekly or you can see those updates, right? You have to take care everything, right? and there is lack of flexibility to upgrade, guys. For example, you are using SQL Server, for example, 10 version, or you are using Windows 7, for example, guys. Okay, you know that terminology, Windows 7. You want to upgrade to the Windows 10, right? So within few clicks, you can be able to upgrade that to higher versions. Okay, so remember this point. If you want to upgrade Windows 7 to Windows 10, I can be able to even it's in within few clicks. I can do that in a cloud, but here there is lack of flexibility, right? So you have to do a lot of things to upgrade to the Windows 10, right? And the next step would be you have to be appoint dedicated staff for the data center maintenance, right? So within companies on premises, guys, in Infosys or L&T or Wipro, so they have their own infrastructure, right? They have their own on-prem systems, right? They need some dedicated staff to maintain all these server, storage, memory, whatever I'm talking about. Okay, so there is no staff is required to maintain the data center. Everything is taken care by the cloud service provider, guys. You no need to worry about. Okay, so data center maintenance and everything is taken care by the cloud service provider. You no need to worry about underlying infrastructure. Okay, maybe few guys are aware, some time back we have a lot of servers going down, and you have to take care all the maintenance task and all, right? So you, in the cloud service provider, if you're if any cloud service provider, if you can take, and that you no need to worry about underlying infrastructure, guys. Okay, and data cannot be accessed from the remote, right? Once you leave the organization, you cannot access the data, right? Through phone, through mobile also you cannot access the data, right? Your business data. So in cloud service provider, data can be accessed remotely if you have internet connection. Okay, so guys, believe me, so now I'm going to explain Azure Data Factory. So I'll come to all the questions. Okay, Azure Data Factory will rule the industry because the plenty of reasons people are moving to Azure Data Factory. We have plenty of opportunities in the future. This is the right time you to learn and shift your career to data factory, even for non-IT people, because industry is looking for Azure Data Factory developers, and so because since it's a code-free tool, because there are plenty of as we discussed, right, with respect to cost, with respect to productivity, with respect to performance, right? So customers are looking into these things, and they no need to worry about their underlying infrastructure. Okay, if you can go to Azure Data Factory, since it is serverless infrastructure, guys, you no need to worry about underlying infrastructure. Everything would taken care by Microsoft, and you can focus on your business, right? It's a PaaS service. Many businesses are moving right now. No need to worry. We can discuss all these points. Informatica, SSIS, all these jobs are current data stage. So currently, my companies are migrating their jobs to Azure Data Factory. Okay, so that will come. I'll explain those things while explaining Azure Data Factory, and why we are moving to Azure Data Factory. Okay, so you try to understand, guys, benefits of cloud computing, and with respect to on-prem data center, why people are moving to cloud. Now you got some idea. If you have internet connection, you can access to anywhere from this cloud, guys. Okay, uh, so just you need internet connection, that's it. Okay, but with respect to on-prem data center, you cannot access the data remotely, right? So after Angela explains, John, so John is very happy. Okay, yeah, I'll cover Databricks also, guys. So John is very happy now. You can see, guys, here. So after explaining, and he's going to start understanding the services. Okay, what cloud services we have, and cloud computing. So types of cloud computing, and cloud services. Okay, so data in the sense your business data, guys, you cannot access the data from anywhere, right? So your company's on premises, you can access the data only with your in your company's premises, right? You cannot access your company's data anywhere, right? If you have VPN, then you can be able to connect to that your client network, right? But through internet connection, only internet connection, you can be able to access any. For example, you want to access Outlook, Office 365, it's hosted on a cloud, you can be able to access anywhere if you have internet connection, right? So these kinds of things happening with respect to cloud. There are plenty of uses, plenty of benefits using as Microsoft Azure cloud or any cloud service provider. So we have different types of cloud computing, guys. So public cloud, in the sense, public cloud, we have different cloud service providers, right? We have Microsoft Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud. All these are comes under public cloud. Okay. So maybe a few customers they're directly using only public cloud. Okay. So all the services that taking from the cloud service provider, whether it is Microsoft Azure or AWS, they can choose one cloud service provider and they'll get all the services from the Microsoft Azure. Okay. So private cloud, in the sense, it's a private on-premises. It's an on-premises. It's a company's on-premises. Okay, they will set up their own cloud. They'll set up all this infrastructure in their company's on-premises, and you cannot be able to access. Okay, all this. I mean, outside, right? So few customers, guys, what they will look, they will look few services from the cloud service provider and few services from maybe on-premises. Okay, they will use the maybe best security standards, whatever the cloud service providers are offering. They don't want to agree those security standards. They want to use their own security standards, and few services are taking from public cloud and few services are taking from the private cloud. Okay, so this is called it as a hybrid cloud, guys. Hybrid cloud is nothing but few services are taking from public cloud, few services are taking from the private cloud. Okay, so that we can discuss. There is one of the concept I'll explain going forward. So cloud services. So cloud services, we have infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, guys. For any cloud service providers, they're offering all these three. Okay, so IaaS, infrastructure as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, and software as a service. Okay, so what is this infrastructure as a service, guys? So infrastructure as a service, in the sense, so for example, guys, if you want to purchase a flat, okay, you want to purchase a flat, and you can go to any real estate person, and you want to I mean so you can just ask him, and I want to purchase a flat, and so you can just I mean provide some information on that. So if you have all he has all the information, and he will give one flat. He will definitely maybe provide you that flat, and in the flat what he can offer you, he can maybe a hall and kitchen, bedroom, restrooms, and so all this hall, right? So balcony and all these things he can provide you, right? But if you want, but for example, I need a washing machine, I need fridge, they will not provide you all these things, right? You have to be purchase all these items, you have to buy all these items outside, and you have to be accommodate all these things, right? You have to take care of all these things. What person will provide you, he can provide you all these things. Okay, if you need TV, if you need washing machine, everything you have to be purchased. So infrastructure as a service, Microsoft, they can I mean, when it comes to an example, guys, we have some virtual machines. The underlying layer Microsoft can offer you. We have different use case for this, guys. What IaaS and what PaaS services. This is the infrastructure as a service. Okay, IaaS, and we have PaaS, platform as a service, and we have a SaaS. Okay, so when it comes to infrastructure, so he will provide you the flat, empty flat, and you have to be purchase all the items, whatever your daily needs, right? And with respect to platform as a service, it's an example for example, fully furnished flat. Okay, you want to purchase a fully furnished flat or studio rooms, right? So what they can offer you, they can provide you TV, maybe they can provide you washing machine, fridge, and all these items they can provide you, beds and all, right? So what you have to do, for example, they already provide gas and everything, but you have to be, when you want to cook, right? You have all this gas and everything, but when you want to cook yourself, and you need all the kitchen items, and you need all the groceries and all, right? But when you want to, you have to be go to the market, and you have to pick those items, and you have to prepare yourself. Okay, So owner will provide you all these things, but you have to be prepare your food, you have to be purchase the groceries and everything. Even sometimes what will happen, owner provided maybe Samsung TV, you want to you need a plasma or you need a Sony TV, right? So owner cannot provide you all this, right? Whatever the items they gave you, and you have to use those, right? So you have to use those items. If you want to purchase different items, you have to you can purchase those, right? So you cannot ask, you cannot customize, you cannot ask that to the owner, right? So the owner cannot provide you whatever the services they're offering, whatever products they gave you, and you have to use those, that's it, right? So that is what PaaS service, platform as a service. And software as a service in the sense, when you go to any five-star hotel or any seven-star hotel, what they will offer, offer you, just you can go to your room and you can just call to your call to the desk, and you can just order the food, right? So just order the food, that's it, right? So you no need to worry about anything. So food will come to your room, and you can they serve you if you want, and you can eat accordingly, right? So with respect to software as a service, we have some examples, guys. Okay, infrastructure as a service in the sense, we have virtual machines, and virtual networks, storage, memory, right? Input, output. So all these are comes under infrastructure as a service. Okay, so I'll come to that. We will create a virtual machines, and I'll show you, because one of the source SFTP, I'll create this virtual machine, I'll host this SFTP server in that, and I'll show you, because you have to understand real time, guys. Okay, so how you need to set up this and everything I'll explain. And platform as a service, ADF is a platform as a PaaS service, guys. Okay, so ADF is a platform as a service, and we have app services. Okay, you can understand going forward what is this app services. And Azure SQL. So there are different kinds of services. Azure SQL, all these are comes under in platform as a service. So software as a service in the sense, Outlook. So you know Outlook, right? So email, Office 365. So this is also you can configure Power BI. So all these are comes under software as a service, guys. Okay. So I'll give another real-time use case, no need to worry about, but real-time infrastructure as a service in the sense, virtual machines, virtual networks, storage, memory, input, output, platform as a service in the sense, Azure Data Factory. For clear understanding all this PaaS service, IaaS service, SaaS service, I'll give an use case actually going forward. You can understand that we have some real-time use case for this. So I'll start explaining the next session how you need to use those. Okay. So these are all the services Microsoft is offering, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS services. Because SQL Server and everything, guys, you have to install, right? You have to install every. This is not a SaaS service. You have to install everything. You have to create a databases and everything. You have to take care, right? Azure SQL, everything is comes. Azure SQL database comes under PaaS service, because on top of that, you have to install your databases. You have to create databases, tables, and everything, right? But when it comes to SaaS service, right? Software as a service, you no need to do anything. Just install this software and you can use it, right? So like Outlook, you can just install and you can use it. Office 365, you just install and use it. Power BI, just install and use it. That's it, right? So like a 5-star or 7-star hotel, just order the food and you can eat it. That's it, right? No need to prepare. With respect to PaaS services, you have to be purchase the grocery items. You have to be cook your own, right? With respect to IaaS service, they just provide you empty flat. Okay, they will not provide you all these items. You just need to purchase whatever you need, right? So based on the services, based on your requirement, you need to ask cloud service provider, I need IaaS service, right? So you can ask them and they will provide you accordingly. Okay. Any questions, guys?
Hello, hi Suresh. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, may I know which topics you are going to covering in the Azure Data Engineer?
Yeah, so I'm going to cover Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, and Spark, PySpark, and I'm going to explain the basics about what is the PySpark, Python, and in a Databricks notebook, how we need to use SQL and Scala and Databricks environment. Okay, and Databricks real-time notebooks you have to understand, guys, because I have whatever I worked till now, and I have some real-time projects as well, and I'm going to explain those real-time projects and what my code. I'll show you my code, and I'll also share everyone to code, because this code you can reuse in your real time. Once you start working, right, there is lot of reusable code I have written. So I'll show you all these things, guys, you can understand, okay, going forward. So how you need to use this in a real time. Okay, so you have to understand all these things.
Okay, if I train under this training, then am I eligible for Azure Databricks developer?
Yes,
Am I
yes, yes.
eligible for that?
Yes, yes, you are eligible for Azure Databricks and ADF developers, guys. You have to be practice accordingly, and you have to, I mean, whatever the notebooks, right? I'm going to explain in a Databricks notebook, right? You have to be practice, and you have to, whatever the, I'm going to share few notebooks, guys. Whatever I worked in a real time, I'll share few notebooks, okay, so that you can be able to use that in a real time, and you can even reuse that, okay, reuse that notebooks as well in a real time. Just
Okay.
replace that code as well. um, Let me show you one thing.
Uh, Suresh,
Yes, guys, go ahead.
yeah, like just want to know, like, just want to understand. So, do we have coding kind of stuff in Azure Data Factory? And yes, what kind
No,
of coding
da-
we are doing?
Data Factory is a completely code-free tool. You no need to worry about the coding at all, guys. Okay, so we have plenty of opportunities in Azure Data Factory only. Okay, because nowadays we have a lot of migration projects. A lot of jobs are moving to Azure Data Factory. We are using Azure Data Factory tool, and we are moving the data to cloud. All Informatica jobs, data stage. In future, plenty of opportunities in Azure Data Factory, believe me, guys, because I'm working on a product side, because we know that complete cycle. People, I mean, how many companies are using, and the entire, I mean, because we are handling that load actually. So I understand that in future, plenty of opportunities on Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory, everyone, even for non-IT people, nowadays people are moving to Azure Data Factory. The reason behind it's completely code-free tool, and it's easy when compared to any other technologies in IT. So Azure Data Factory is a very easy tool, and you can be able to understand very clearly.
Suresh,
Yeah,
what is it?
I know this one, but like, uh, one question. So you
Mhm.
told like you're going to write the notebooks, right? So share the
Yep,
notebooks. Like, just
yep,
want like out of curiosity, what is the content of the notebook? Like, actually, like if you take the Python, we have
mhm.
Colab notebook or like a Jupyter notebook kind of stuff. So
Correct,
how
correct.
Azure? Yeah, please.
Yeah, we have Databricks notebooks, guys. Okay, so we'll be able to implement all the transformations in the Databricks notebooks, and so yeah, it's a video-based training live class. Okay, so I mean, Databricks notebooks, you can understand, guys, there are different commands. So since we are going to write a code in Databricks, I'm talking about not Data Factory. It's a new service. Okay, Databricks is a new service, and in Databricks we have notebooks. We have different commands. You can write in any language. Since it supports 4 APIs, you can choose whatever the familiarity. So if you are already have some experience on Python or Scala, SQL, or language, you can use either of these languages, because Spark itself, it supports all these languages. So you can choose either one, and you can be able to implement accordingly. Okay, so that I can show you, guys. Okay, you have to understand some Spark architecture. What is Spark? I'm saying about Spark. What is Spark? You have to understand what is this. You have to understand some big data terminology. Okay, so why we are moving to Spark, and what are all disadvantages in a traditional framework like MapReduce, right? So you have to understand why Spark and everything. Yeah, daily, guys. Okay, we have so maybe in the next 1 week, or I will not take any weekend class, because once everyone is settled, and later I'll take even weekend also. So is everyone is okay with that weekend class also?
Yeah. Only on weekends or on every day?
Every day, guys. Everyday sessions, including I'm trying to take a weekend also if everyone is okay with that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other questions, guys?
Yeah, Suresh, is it cover Python also from basics?
Yes, guys. Okay. I'll take one session on that Python basics and PySpark, how you need to use. And in Databricks itself, I'll show you how you need to write a code, customized code, like user-defined functions, how you need to do that with Python. I'll show you guys. In Scala
SQL
also,
also.
how you, yeah, SQL also in Scala also. Just I want to show you how you need to implement. So in Scala, SQL, yeah.
Suresh, what is the difference between like data engineer and the data scientist? Both roles are the different, or both are the same thing only?
Yeah, so you can understand this definition, guys. Okay, as a data engineer, what exactly you need to perform? You need to collect the data from the variety of sources, and you need to load the data. It might be cloud or anywhere, and you need to transform the data and load the data into somewhere like in a data lake or database or anywhere. From there, data scientists or machine learning people will come into picture. Okay, after you transforming the data, and machine learning and data scientist people will come into picture and they will do some sort of analytics on top of the data. So in my project, what we are doing, we are initially extracting the data from one of the SFTP server or SQL. We are using multiple sources, extracting the data from SFTP and load the data into raw data lake. And from there, I'm doing certain kinds of transformations using data flows, using ADF. I'm doing transformations or data bricks and load the data into refined data lake in some format, some Parquet format. Initially, I load the data into CSV. Maybe I transform to the Parquet format. There are a lot of advantages. You can understand why we are moving to Parquet. And this refined data is used by data scientist team where they can do some sort of analytics on top of the data. Okay. And finally, I'm loading the data into producer data lake. What exactly my business team is required. And from there, business people, they'll connect to their Power BI reporting tool and they will view the data. This is high level. I'm just explaining. No need to worry, because after this maybe in between course I'll share one document how you need to explain about your project, right? So you have to understand that how you need in front of interviews you have to explain some project, right? I have to tell you what kind, I mean, since you're not aware anything from Azure Data Factory or anything from Azure Data Engineering side, so I'll explain, guys, after some time how you need to explain about a project. And so what is a source system and how you need to, so you have to tell like you already working in a real time, right? So you have to tell an interviewer you already working in interview real time, and I'll explain that way, guys. Okay, so that you can explain the same project to interviewer. And yeah, so that way what kind of question they will ask again, right? If you can explain, that is one part. On top of that, they will ask some questions, right? You have to understand, you have to explain that also I can just explain about the project, and I'll also share you the just brief about I'll share one document about that. Okay, just read. Any other questions, team?
Yeah, Suresh,
Mhm.
like you told like we are going to use a Spark. Spark is a data brick concept.
uh, Spark itself is an it's Azure Databricks, guys. Okay, so Azure Databricks in the sense Spark is a framework where you need to write a code in a Spark in a
Oh,
Databricks. Okay, so we have Apache Spark and we have Databricks Spark. Okay, so Apache Spark and Databricks Spark, what is the difference? It's much more flexible than Apache Spark. Okay,
okay.
so there is I mean code is very less when compared to Apache Spark. Everything you have to write from scratch, but Databricks is very easy to write a code. Okay, so I'll show
Okay.
you guys. Okay, the underlying infrastructure, why we are calling it as Azure Databricks, because underlying infrastructure, so we're trying to create a cluster. It's nothing but a group of computers, and we have different kinds of clusters, interactive based, job based clusters. Going forward, you can understand what is a cluster and what types of clusters we can create in Azure Databricks. Okay, so for even Azure, AWS also we have Azure Databricks. Okay, it's an AWS Databricks. Even in Azure also we have Databricks. Azure Databricks. Okay, so we are going to write a code in a Spark. Spark is a framework. Okay, so how you need to handle that huge volume of data, big data, right? How you need to handle that, how you need to transform that in data, we can see that in Databricks. So yeah, so I'll try. Is that fine every day 7 a.m. guys or 7:30? Is everyone is okay with that?
Yeah,
7
yeah,
or
okay.
7:30? Yeah.
7.
Okay, guys. Okay, that's fine.
So
Tomorrow
yeah, I
will
mean
class.
Yeah, tomorrow also we have
I
a
mean like
class. Tomorrow also we have a demo session. I'll take the demo session tomorrow also.
Tomorrow what time? 8 o'clock or?
Same 8 o'clock. Only weekends, guys, 8 o'clock because I think 7 o'clock it's very early. That's why I did not do demo session.
Okay.
So Monday onwards I'll take regular 7 or 7:30. Okay.
Please update in
and
the
how long are the classes, Suresh?
45 days, guys.
Typically?
It is 45 plus hours only. 45
No.
hours.
I'm like the hours every day.
1 hour, guys. Every day 1 hour.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. If you don't have any questions, we'll wind up the session. So we can connect again tomorrow morning 8 a.m. Okay. Have a great day all. If you have any questions, personal questions, you can call me, guys. I think everyone have my number. If you don't have, just ping me your numbers or ping. Let me ping my number. You can just take it.
Thank you, Suresh.
So yeah, I'll share the recorded sessions every day, guys. Okay, even if you miss any sessions, you can take it from the drive itself. Okay, I'll share all the Git URL scripts, SQL scripts. I mean pipelines. If you need any source files and everything, I'll place in a drive and I'll place in repositories. So I'll share access. I'll provide an access to everyone. So once demo sessions is completed, so just share your email IDs. I'll provide.
Thank you, Suresh.
thank you, Suresh.
Thank you, Suresh.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Suresh.